Are these newfangled things any good?
Wow, this game hits hard. South of the Circle is a moving, beautiful experience. With brilliant voice acting and an engaging art style, this non-linear adventure game explores the story of a climate scientist's crash landing in the Arctic and the events that follow. With some dramatic flair added in, you explore the 80s, Cold War panic, and a relationship critical to your life and career. The gameplay is solid, so let's take a look. Looking at the game as a whole, it really was an experience. At first, I felt like this could have been a film, a sentiment I often hold for story-driven games, but I feel that this blended level of choice worked really well here. A slight gripe I have about the game is the story's ending. The game makes it clear from the start that your choices matter, and yet the ending is predetermined. I understand that the game is based on a book, and so it already has an ending, but I feel like with the amount of dialogue choices you're doing and the constant decision making, it felt like a bit of a letdown having that set ending. I think the story and the execution was brilliant. I would have just loved that my choices actually meant something after a good 3-4 hours of gameplay. It's going to sound like I'm just nitpicking, but I want to make sure I talk about my Switch frustrations and Switch experience in particular. I struggled a lot with the radio minigame throughout, as with my joysticks were just not cooperating. You need to spin the radio and so spin the joysticks, and I could just never land on the right point. It was really annoying. I find that then my gameplay and story just drove to a halt as I was just fiddling with radios for half of the time, waiting for the next bit of exposition. Similarly, I found that the visual and animation glitches I experienced on the Switch were really just immersion breaking. Often characters would not be holding the items, rather look like they're holding something with an empty hand, and for the thing to be about 2 inches to the left of their actual hand. When characters were holding hands, and I saw this work originally, first both characters would have fists and their fists would be together. After that, sometimes only one character would have a fist and the other character would have a flat hand, or both would just be holding 2 flat hands next to each other. It made me chuckle at times, but it also just looked weird, and then I wasn't paying attention to the story. With once one of the hand glitches, somebody picked up a piece of paper and just both hands started flipping backwards, and it's not what you want from a kind of realistic game like this. A few of the things were also a little bit jittery, such as some characters' movements would suddenly start flickering. A couple elements as well were no clipping through each other, people's legs and rocks and things like that. Now, those kind of things are a lot less immersion breaking, but I'm sure could be fixed quite easily. Sadly as well, I had some audio skipping as well, so sometimes characters would repeat the exact same thing that happened, and I double checked these scenes online. They were not meant to skip and jump like that. It's a real shame because the voice acting quality is some of the best bit about this game, I would say. With a slightly questionable Edinburgh accent, might I say? But I really do feel these issues could be patched quite easily. I really enjoyed it, I really did, and so it sounds like I'm being quite negative. I really did enjoy the game, so this is the last negative thing I'll say, but similarly, I was struggling a little with the controls. Moving the character around, I found there was a lot of invisible walls, and similarly, I got stuck just a few times on the terrain. Made the endless walking of the game even more grueling, which was maybe the point. With most of my Switch reviews, I always talk a little bit about pop-in problems, especially when I'm being asked to enjoy the game's gorgeous vistas or look at something in the distance, and then 2 minutes later, the actual thing appears in. It doesn't feel so good, but I understand the limitations of the hardware. The devs did their best with it, and again, the game is gorgeous. Even though I've said quite a few bad things, or negative in my books, I really did enjoy the game. I played it all in one go. Map took maybe 3-4 hours-ish, and I felt it was quite an experience. Half of my notes on here just say really interesting, so let that guide your judgment. Like a good book, I found this game really hard to put down. I'm quite skeptical about my replayability of it. I think the dramatic tension is gone, as whilst playing, I was really on the edge of my seat, and so not sure where the narrative was going. Knowing the ending, for me, spoils the game. So if you're looking to get stuck in, don't look up anything about the story. The atmosphere is worth mentioning as well. Beautiful music and sound design, and a really great and engaging art style. I would love to see more in this look, and there is a lot of tension here. Tense moments, beautiful moments, it was really something. The behind the scenes section of the game is really cool as well. I made sure to check it out once I'd finished the game. Again, it made it feel a bit like a film, but it was quite enjoyable to delve deeper into the lore and a little bit more of the thought process behind the art and things like that. I would say the game is worth its price, and also worth exploring even if you've never played dramatic indie games like this before. For more reviews, check out our website or the other videos on our YouTube. Bye for now.